Come, leave your tears a brief farewell. The beast with many heads butts me away. Nay, mother, where is your ancient courage? You were used to say extremities was the trier of spirits, the common chances common men could bear, that when the sea was calm, all boats alike showed mastership in floating. Fortune's blows, when most struck home, being gentle wounded, craves a noble cunning. You were used to load me with precepts that would make invincible the heart that conned them.
Oh heavens, oh heavens!
Nay, I pray thee, woman.
Now the red pestilence strike all trades in Rome, and occupations perish.
What? I shall be loved when I am lax. Nay, mother, resume that spirit when you were wont to say, if you had been the wife of Hercules, 6 of his labors you'd have done and saved your husband to such sweat. Cominius, droop not. Adieu. Farewell, my wife, my mother. I'll do well yet. Thou old and true Menenius, thy tears are salter than a younger man's, and venomous to thine eyes. My sometimes general, I have seen thee stern, and thou hast oft beheld heart-hardening spectacles. Tell these sad women 'tis fond to wail inevitable strokes as 'tis to laugh at them. My mother, you wot well my hazards still have been your solace, and believe it not lightly, though I go alone like to a lonely dragon, that his fen makes feared and talked of more than seen. Your son will or exceed the common, or be caught with cautelous baits and practice.
My first son, whither wilt thou go? Take good Cominius with thee a while. Determine on some course, more than a while exposure to each chance that starts in the way before thee.
Oh, the God.
I'll follow thee. Devise with thee where thou shalt rest, that thou mayest hear of us and we of thee. So if the time thrust forth a cause for thy repeal, we shall not send o'er the vast world to seek a single man and lose advantage, which doth ever cool in the absence of the needer.
Fare you well. Thou hast years upon thee, and thou art too full of the war's surface to go rove with one that's yet unbruised. Bring me but out a gate. Come, my sweet wife, my dearest mother, and my friends of noble touch, when I am forth, bid me farewell, and smile. I pray you, come. While I remain above the ground, you shall hear from me still, and never of me aught but what is like me for me.
As worthily as any ear can hear. Come, let's not weep. If I could shake off but 7 years from these old arms and legs, by the good gods, I'd with thee every foot.
Give me thy hand. Come.
Bid them all home. He's gone and will no further. The nobility are vexed, whom we see have sided in his behalf.
Now we have shown our power, let us seem humbler after it's done than when it was a-doing.
Bid them home, say their great enemy is gone, and they stand in their ancient strength.
Dismiss them home. Oh, here comes his mother.
Let's not meet her.
Why?
They say she's mad.
They've ta'en note of us. Keep on your way.
Oh, you're well met. The horrid plague of the gods requite your love.
Peace, peace, be not so loud.
If that I could for weeping, you should hear. Nay, and you shall hear some. Will you be gone?
You shall stay too. I had the power to say so to my husband.
Are you mankind?
I, fool, is that a shame? Note but this, fool, was not a man my father? Hadst thou fucked ship to banish him that struck more blows for Rome than thou hast spoken words?
Oh, blessed heavens.
More noble blows than ever thou wise words. And for Rome's good, I'll tell thee what. Oh, yet go. Nay, but thou shalt stay too. I would my son were in Arabia, and thy tribe before him, his good sword in his hand.
What then?
What then? He'd make an end of thy posterity.
Bastards and all. Good man, the wounds that he does bear for Rome.
Come, peace.
I would he had continued to his country as he began, and not unknit himself the noble knot he made.
I would he had.
I would he had. 'Twas you incensed the rabble. Cats that can judge as fitly of his worth as I can of those mysteries which heaven will not have earth to go.
Pray, let's go.
Now, pray, sir, get you gone. You've done a brave deed. Ere you go, hear this. As far as doth the capital exceed the meanest house in Rome, so far my son, this lady's husband here, this, do you see, whom you have banished, does exceed you all.
Well, we'll leave you.
Why stay to be baited with one that wants her wits?
Take my prayers with you. I would the gods had nothing else to do but to confirm my curses. Oh, could I but meet them once a day, it would unclog my heart of what lies heavy to it.
You have told them home, and by my troth you have cause. You'll sup with me.
Anger's my meat. I sup upon myself, and so shall starve with feeding. Come, let's go. Leave this fate puling and lament as I do, in anger, Juno-like. Come, come, come.
Fie.
I know you well, sir, and you know me. Your name, I think, is Adrian.
It is so, sir. Truly, I have forgot you.
I am a Roman, and my services are, as you are, against them. Know you me yet?
Nicanor? No.
The same, sir.
You had more beard when I last saw you, but your favor is well approved by your tongue. What's news in Rome? I have a note from the Volscian state to find you out there. You have well saved me a day's journey.
There have been in Rome strange insurrections. The people against the senators, patricians, and nobles.
Half in. Is it ended then? Our state thinks not so. They are in a most warlike preparation and hope to come upon them in the heat of their division.
The main blaze of it is past, but a small thing would make it flame again. For the nobles receive so to heart the banishment of that worthy Coriolanus, that they are in a ripe aptness to take all power from the people and to pluck from them their tribunes forever. This lies glowing, I can tell you, and is almost mature for the violent breaking out.
Coriolanus is banished.
Banished, sir.
You will be welcome with this intelligence, Nicanor.
The day serves well for them now. I've heard it said the fittest time to corrupt a man's wife is when she's fallen out with her husband. Your noble Tullus Ophidius will appear well in these wars, his great opposer Coriolanus being now in no request of his country.
He cannot choose. I am most fortunate thus accidentally to encounter you. You have ended my business, and I will merrily accompany you home.
I shall between this and supper tell you most strange things from Rome, all tending to the good of their adversaries. Have you an army ready, say you?
A most royal one. The centurions and their charges distinctly billeted, already in the entertainment, and to be on foot at an hour's warning.
I am joyful to hear of their readiness, and am the man, I think, that shall set them in present action. So, sir, heartily well met, and most glad of your company.
You take my part from me, sir. I have the most cause to be glad of yours.
Well, let us go together.
A goodly city is this Antium city. 'Tis I that made my widows, many an heir of these fate edifices for my wards. Have I heard groan and drop, then know not, lest that thy wives with spits and boys with stones in puny battle slay me. Save you, sir.
And you?
Direct me, if it be your will, where great Aufidius lies. Is he at Antium?
He is, and feasts the nobles of the state at his house this night.
Which is his house, beseech you?
This, here before you.
Thank you, sir. Farewell. Oh, world, thy slippery turns. Friends now fast sworn, whose double bosom seems to wear one heart, whose hours, whose bed, whose meal and exercise are still together, who twin as 'twere in love inseparable, shall within this hour on a dissension of a doit break out to bitterest enmity. So fellest foes, whose passions and whose plots have broke their sleep, to take the one the other by some chance, some trick not worth an egg shall grow, dear friends, and interjoin these issues. So with me. My birthplace hate I, and my loves upon this enemy town, I'll enter if he slay me. He does fair justice. If he give me way, I'll do his country service.
Wine, wine, wine! What service is here? I think our fellows are asleep.
Where's Cotus? My master calls for him. Cotus!
A goodly house, the feast smells well, but I appear not like a guest.
What would you have, friend? Whence are you? Here's no place for you. Pray, go to the door.
I have deserved no better entertainment in being Coriolanus.
Whence are you, sir? Has the porter his eyes on his head, that he gives entrance to such companions? Pray you get out.
Away.
Away? Get you away.
Now thou art troublesome.
Are you so brave? I'll have talked with anon.
What fellow is this?
A strange one as ever I looked on. I cannot get him out of the house. Prithee, call my master to him.
What have you to do here, fellow? Pray you, avoid this house.
Let me but stand. I will not hurt you, earth.
What are you?
A gentleman.
A marvelous poor one.
True, so I am.
Pray you, poor gentleman, take up some other station. Here's no place for you. Pray you, avoid. Come.
Follow your function. Go and batten on cold bits.
What, you will not? Prithee, tell my master what a strange guest he has here.
And I shall.
Where dwellest thou?
Under the canopy.
Under the canopy.
Aye.
Where's that?
In the city of kites and crows.
the city of kites and crows. What an ass it is! Then thou dweltst with daws too?
No, I serve not thy master.
How, sir? Do you meddle with my master?
Aye, 'tis an honester service than to meddle with thy mistress. Thou pratest and pratest, serve with thy trencher hence.
Where is this fellow?
Here, sir. I'd have beaten him like a dog, but for disturbing the lords within.
Whence comest thou? What wouldst thou? Thy name? Why speak'st not? Speak, man. What's thy name?
If Tullus not yet thou knowest me, and seeing me does not think me for the man I am, necessity commands me name myself.
What is thy name?
A name unmusical to the Volscians' ears, and harsh in sound to thine.
Say, what's thy name? Thou hast a grim appearance, and thy face bears command in it. Though thy tackle's torn, thou show'st a noble vessel. What's thy name?
Prepare thy brow to frown. Knowest thou me yet?
I know thee not. Thy name?
My name is Marcius Caius, who hath done to thee particularly into all the Volsces great hurt and mischief. There to witness may my surname Coriolanus. The painful service, the extreme dangers, and the drops of blood shed for my thankless country are requited but with the surname, a good memory, and witness of the malice and displeasure which thou shouldest bear me. Only the name remains, the cruelty and envy of the people permitted by our dastard nobles, who have all forsook me, have devoured the rest, and suffered me by the voice of slaves to be whooped out of Rome. Now this extremity hath brought me to thy hearth, not out of hope, mistake me not, to save my life. For if I had feared death of all the men in the world, I would have avoided thee. But in mere spite, to be full quite of those my banishers, stand I before thee here. Then if thou hast a heart of wreck, a heart of wreak in thee, that will revenge thine own particular wrongs and stop those maims of shame, seen through thy country, speed thee straight, and make my misery serve thy turn, so use it that my revengeful services may prove as benefits to thee. For I will fight against my cankered country with the spleen of all the under fiends, but if it be so thou dost not this, and that to prove more fortunes thou art tired then in this word, I also am longer to live most weary, and present my throat to thee and to thine ancient malice, which not to cut would show thee but a fool, since I have ever followed thee with hate, drawn turns of blood out of thy country's breast, and cannot live to thy shame, unless it be to do thee service.
Oh, Marcius. Marcius. Each word thou hast spoke hath weeded from my heart a root of ancient envy. If Jupiter should from yon cloud speak divine things and say 'tis true, I'd not believe them more than thee, all noble Marcius. Let me twine mine arms about that body, where against my grained ash 100 times hath broke and scarred the moon with splinters. Here I clip the anvil of my sword and do contest as hotly and as nobly with thy love as ever in ambitious strength I did contend against thy valor. Know thou first, I loved the maid I married. Never man sighed truer breath, but that I see thee here, thou noble thing, more dances my rapt heart than when I first my wedded mistress saw bestride my threshold. Why, thou, Mars, I tell thee, we have a power on foot, and I had purpose once more to hew my target from thy brawn, or lose mine arm for it. Thou hast beat me out 12 several times, and I have nightly since dreamt of encounters twixt thyself and me. We have been down together in my sleep, unbuckling helms, fisting each other's throat, and waked half dead with nothing. Worthy Marcius, had we no other quarrel else to Rome, but that thou art thence banished, we would muster all from 12 to 70, and pouring war into the bowels of ungrateful Rome like a bold flood, or bear it. Oh. Come, go in, and take our friendly senators by the hands, who now are here taking their leaves of me, who am prepared against your territories, though not for Rome itself.
You bless me, gods.
Therefore, most absolute sir, if thou wilt have the leading of thine own revenges, take the one half of my commission and set down, as best thou art experienced, since thou knowest thy country's strength and weakness, thine own ways, whether to knock against the gates of Rome, or rudely visit them in parts remote to fright them ere destroy. But come in. Let me commend thee first to those that shall say yea to thy desires. 1,000 welcomes, and more a friend than e'er an enemy. Yet, Marcius, that was much. Your hand, most welcome.
There's a strange alteration.
By my hand, I had thought to have strucken him with a cudgel, and yet my mind gave me his clothes made a false report of him.
What an arm he has! He turned me about with his finger and thumb as one would set a top.
Nay, I knew by his face that there was something in him. He had, sir, a kind of face, methought. I cannot tell how to term it.
It's so, looking as it were, would I were hanged, but I thought there was more in him than I could think.
So did I. I'll be sworn. He's simply the rarest man in the world.
I think he is, but a greater soldier than he, what one?
Who, my master?
Nay, he's no matter for that.
Worth 6 on him.
Nay, not so neither, but I take him to be the greater soldier.
Faith, look you, one cannot tell how to say that. For the defense of a town, our general is excellent.
Aye, and for an assault too.
Slaves, I can tell you news, you rascals.
What?
What?
Partake.
I was not be a Roman of all nations. I had as lief to be a man.
Wherefore?
Why, here's he that was wont to thwack our general, Caius Marcius.
Why do you say thwack our general?
I do not say thwack our general, but he was always good enough for him.
Come, we are fellows and friends. He was ever too hard for him. I have heard him say so himself.
He was too hard for him directly, to say the truth on it. Before Coriolanus, he scotched him and he notched him like a carbonado.
And he had been cannibally given. He might have boiled and eaten him too.
But more of thy news.
Why, he is so made on here within as if he were son and heir to Mars. Set at upper end of the table, no question asked him by any of the senators, but they stand bald before him. Our general himself makes a mistress of him, sanctifies himself with hand, and turns up the white of the eye to his discourse. But the bottom of the news is, our general is cut in the middle, and but one half of what he was yesterday. For the other half by the entreaty and grant of the whole table. He'll go, he says, and sowl the porter of Rome gates by the ears. He will mow all down before him and leave his passage pulled.
And he's as like to do it as any man I can imagine.
Do it. He'll do it. For look you, sir, he has as many friends as enemies, which friends, sir, as it were, durst not look you, sir, show themselves, as we term it, his friends, whilst he's in directitude.
Directitude? What's that?
But when they shall see, sir, his crest up again and the man in blood, they will out of their burrows like Connies after rain and revel all with him.
But when goes this forward?
Tomorrow, today, presently. You shall have the drum struck up this afternoon. 'Tis as it were a parcel of theirs, and to be executed ere they wipe their lips.
Why then, we shall have a stirring world again. This piece is nothing but rust iron, increased tailors, and breed ballad makers.
Let me have war, say I. It exceeds peace as far as day does night. It's sprightly walking, audible, and full of vent. Peace is a very apoplexy, lethargy, mold, deaf, sleepy, insensible, a getter of more bastard children than war's a destroyer of men.
'Tis so, and as war's in some sort may be said to be a ravisher, so it cannot be denied but peace is a maker of cuckolds.
Aye, and it makes men hate one another.
Reason? Because they then less need one another. The worse for my money. I hope to see Romans as cheap Volscians. They are rising. They're rising.
In.
We hear not of him, neither need we fear him. His remedies are tame. The present peace and quietness of the people, which before were in a wild hurry. Here do we make his friends blush that the world goes well, who rather had, though they themselves did suffer it. Behold dissentious numbers pestering streets, then see our tradesmen singing in their shops and going about their functions friendly.
We stood to it in good time. Is this Menenius?
Ah, 'tis he, 'tis he. Oh, he is grown most kind of late. Hail, sir.
Hail to you both.
Your Coriolanus is not much missed, but with his friends. The Commonwealth doth stand, and so would do were he more angry at it.
All's well, and might have been much better if he could have temporized.
Where is he, hear you?
Nay, I hear nothing. His mother and his wife hear nothing from him.
The gods preserve you both.
Good evening, our neighbors.
Good evening to you all. Good evening to you all.
Ourselves, our wives, and children, on our knees, are bound to pray for you both.
Live and thrive.
Farewell, kind neighbors. We wished Coriolanus had loved you as we did.
Now the gods keep you.
Farewell.
Farewell, farewell. This is a happier and more comely time than when these fellows ran about the streets crying confusion.
Caius Marcius was a worthy officer in the war, but insolent, o'ercome with pride, ambitious, past all thinking, self-loving.
And affecting one sole throne without assistance.
I think not so.
We should by this to all our lamentation, if he had gone forth counsel, found it so.
For the gods have well prevented it, and Rome sits safe and still without him.
Worthy tribunes, there is a slave whom we have put in prison. Reports the Volscians with two several powers are entered in the Roman territories, and with the deepest malice of the war destroy what lies before them.
'Tis Aufidius, who, hearing of our Marcius's banishment, thrusts forth his horns again into the world, which were enshelled when Marcius stood for Rome and durst not once peep out.
What talk you of Marcius?
Go see this rumor whipped. It cannot be the Volscians dare break with us.
Cannot be? We have record that very well it can, and 3 examples of the like have been within my age. But reason with the fellow before you punish him, where he heard this, lest you shall chance to whip your information and beat the messenger who bids beware of what is to be dreaded?
Tell not me. I know this cannot be.
Not possible.
The nobles in great earnestness are going all to the Senate House. Some news is coming that turns their countenances.
'Tis this slave. Go whip him for the people's eyes, his raising nothing but his report.
Yes, worthy sir. The slave's report is seconded, and more fearful is delivered.
What more fearful?
It is spoke freely out of many mouths, how probable I do not know, that Marcius, joined with Aufidius, leads a power against Rome and vows revenge as spacious as between the youngst and oldest thing.
This is most likely.
Raised only to the weaker sort may wish good Marcius home again.
The very trick on it.
This is unlikely. He and Aufidius can no more atone than violentless contrariety.
You are sent for to the Senate. A fearful army led by Caius Marcius associated with Aufidius rages upon our territories and have already overborne their way, consumed with fire, and took what lay before them.
Oh, you have made good work.
What news? What news?
You have hope to ravish your own daughters and to melt the city leads upon your pates. Your wives dishonored to your noses.
What's the news? What's the news?
Your temples burned in your defense, and your franchises whereupon you stood confined to an auger's bone.
Pray now, what is your news? You have made fair work, I fear me. Pray your news, if Marcius should be joined with the Volscians.
If he is their god, he leads them like a thing made by some other deity than nature that shapes man better, and they follow him against us brats with no less confidence than boys pursuing summer butterflies or butchers killing flies.
You have made good work, you and your apron men, you that stood so much upon the voice of occupation and the breath of garlic eaters.
They'll shake your Rome about your ears.
As Hercules did shake down mellow fruit, you have made fair work.
But is this true, sir?
Aye, and you'll look pale before you find it other. All the regions do smilingly revolt, and who resists are marked for valiant ignorance, and perish constant fools. Who is to blame him? Your enemies and his find something in him.
We are all undone, unless the noble man have mercy.
Who shall ask it? The tribunes cannot do it for shame. The people deserve such pity of him as the wolf does of the shepherds. For his best friends, if they should say, be good to Rome, they charged him even as they should do that had deserved his hate, and therein showed like enemies.
'Tis true. If you were putting to my house the brand that should consume it, I have not the face to say, beseech you, cease. Oh, you have made fair hands, you and your crafts, you have crafted fair.
You have brought a trembling upon Rome such as never seemed capable of help.
Think not we brought it. No.
How? Was it we? We loved him, but like beasts and cowardly nobles gave way into your clusters who did hoot him out in the city.
But I fear they'll roar him in again. Tullus Aufidius, the second name of men, obeys his points as if he were his officer. Desperation is all the policy, strength and defense that Rome can make against them.
Here come the clusters. And is Aufidius with him? Oh, you are they that made the air unwholesome when you cast your stinking greasy caps in hooting at Coriolanus' exile. Now he's coming, and not a hair upon a soldier's head which will not prove a whip. As many coxcombs as you threw caps up will he tumble down and pay you for your voices. Oh, 'tis no matter. Oh, if he could burn us all into one coal, we have deserved it.
Faith, we have fearful news.
For mine own part, when I said banish him, I said 'twas pity.
And so did I.
And So did I. And to say the truth, so did very many of us. That we did for the best, and though we willingly consented to his banishment, yet it was against our will.
Your goodly things, your voices.
You have made good work, you and your cry. Show us to the capital.
Oh, aye. What else?
Go, masters, get you home. Be not dismayed. These are a side that would be glad to have this true which they so seem to fear. Go home. Show no sign of fear.
The gods be good to us. Come, masters, let's home. I ever said we're in the wrong when we banished him.
So did we all. But come, let's home.
Not like this news.
Nor I.
Let's to the capital. Would half my wealth would buy this for a lie.
Pray, let's go.
Do they still fly to the Roman?
I do not know what witchcraft's in him, but your soldiers use him as the grace for meat. Their talk at table and their thanks at end, and you are the darkened in this action, sir, even by your own.
I cannot help it now, unless by using means I lame the foot of our design. He bears himself more proudly, or even to my person, than I thought he would, when first I did embrace him. Yet his nature in that's no changeling, and I must excuse what cannot be amended.
Yet I wish, sir, I mean, for your particular, I had not joined in commission with him, but either have borne the action of yourself, or else to tell him had left it solely.
I understand thee well, and be thou sure, when he shall come to his account, he knows not what I can urge against him, although it seems, and so he thinks, and is no less apparent to the vulgar eye, that he bears all things fairly, and shows good husbandry for the Volscian state, fights dragon-like, and does achieve as soon as draw his sword. And he hath left undone that which shall break his neck or hazard mine, whene'er we come to our account.
Sir, I beseech you, think you he'll carry Rome?
Oh. All places yield to him ere he sits down. No nobility of Rome are his. The senators and patricians love him too. The tribunes are no soldiers. And their people will be as rash in the repeal as hasty to expel him thence. I think he'll be to Rome as is the osprey to the fish, who takes it by sovereignty of nature. First he was a noble servant to them, but he could not carry his honors even, whether 'twas pride, which out of daily fortune ever taints the happy man, whether defect of judgment to fail in the disposing of those chances which he was lord of, or whether nature not to be other than one thing, not moving from the cask to the cushion, but commanding peace even with the same austerity and garb as he controlled the war. But one of these, as he hath spices of them all, not all, for I dare so far free him, made him feared, so hated, so banished. But he has a merit to choke it in the utterance. So our virtues lie in the interpretation of the time, and power unto itself most commendable hath not a tomb so evident as a chair to extol what it hath done. One fire drives out one fire, one nail, one nail. Rights by rights falter, strengths by strengths do fail. Come, it's away. When Caius, Rome is thine, thou art poorest of all, and shortly art thou mine.
No, I'll not go. You heard what he hath said, which was sometime his general, who loved him in a most dear particular. He called me father, but what of that? Go you that banished him, a mile before his tent, fall down, and knee the way into his mercy, Nay, if he coyed to hear Cominius speak, I'll keep it home.
He would not seem to know me.
Do you hear?
Yet one time he did call me by my name. I urged our old acquaintance, and the drops that we had bled together. Coriolanus he would not answer to, forbade all names. He was a kind of nothing, titleless, till he had forged himself a name of the fire of burning Rome.
Why, so you have made good work. A pair of tribunes that have racked Rome to make coals cheap. Ah, a noble memory.
I minded him how royal 'twas to pardon when it was less expected. He replied it was bare petition of a state to one whom they had punished.
No, very well. Could you say less?
I offered to awaken his regard for his private friends. His answer to me was, he could not stay to pick them in a pile of noisome musty chaff. He said 'twas folly for one poor grain or two to leave unburnt and still to nose the offense.
Oh, for one poor grain or two. I am one of those. His mother, wife, his child, and this brave fellow too. We are the grains. You are the musty chaff, and you are smell too above the moon. We must be burnt for you.
Nay, pray be patient. If you refuse your aid in this so never needed help, yet do not upbraids with our distress. But sure, if you would be your country's pleader, your good tongue, more than the instant army we can make, might stop our countrymen.
No, I'll not meddle.
Pray you, go to him.
Oh, what should I do?
Only make trial what your love can do for Rome, toward Martius.
Well, and say that Martius returned me, as Cominius is returned unheard. What then? But as a discontented friend, grief shot with his unkindness, say it'll be so.
Yet your goodwill must have that thanks from Rome after the measure as you intended well.
I'll undertake it. I think he'll hear me, yet to bite his lip and hum at good Cominius much unhearts me. He was not taken well. He had not dined. The veins unfilled, our blood is cold, and then we pout upon the morning, are unapt to give or to forgive. But when we have stuffed these pipes and these conveyances of our blood with wine and feeding, we have suppler souls than those in priest-like fasts, and therefore I'll watch him till he be dieted upon my request. Then I'll set upon him.
You know the very road into his kindness and cannot lose your way.
Yeah, good faith. I'll prove him. Speed how it will, I shall ere long have knowledge of my success.
You'll never hear him.
Not?
I tell you, he does sit in gold, his eye red as 'twould burn Rome, and his injury the jailer to his pity. I kneeled before him. 'Twas very faintly he said, rise, dismissed me thus with his speechless hand. What he would do, he sent in writing after me. What he would not, bound with an oath to yield to his conditions, so that all hope is vain, unless his noble mother and his wife, who, as I hear, mean to solicit him for mercy to his country. Therefore, let's hence, and with our fair entreaties haste them on.
Stay. Whence are you?
Stand and go back.
You guard like men, 'tis well. But by your leave, I am an officer of state, and come to speak with Coriolanus.
From whence?
From Rome.
You may not pass. You must return. Our general will no more hear from thence.
You'll see your Rome embraced with fire before you'll speak with Coriolanus.
Good, my friends. If you have heard your general talk of Rome and of his friends here, it is lots to blanks. My name hath touched your ears. It is Menenius.
Be it so. Go back. The virtue of your name is not here passable.
I tell thee, fellow, the general is my lover. I have been the book of his good acts, whence men have read his fame unparalleled, happily amplified. For I have ever verified my friends, of whom he's chief, with all the sighs that verity would without lapsing suffer. Nay, sometimes, like a bowl upon a subtle ground, I have tumbled past the throw, and in his praise have almost stumped the leasing. Therefore, fellow, I must have leave to pass.
Faith, sir, if you had told as many lies in his behalf as you have uttered words in your own, you should not pass here. No, though it was virtuous to lie as to live chastely. Therefore, go back.
Prithee, fellow, remember my name is Menenius, always factionary on the party of your general.
Howsoever you have been his liar, as you say you have, I am one that, telling true under him, must say, you cannot pass. Therefore go back.
Has he dined, canst thou tell, for I would speak with him till after dinner.
You are a Roman, are you?
I am, as thy general is.
Then you should hate Rome as he does. Can you, when you have pushed out your gates the very defender of them, and in a violent popular ignorance, given your enemy your shield, think to front his revenges with the easy groans of old women, the virginal palms of your daughters, or with the palsied intercessions of such decayed dotant as you seem to be? Can you think to blow out the intended fire your city is ready to flame in with such weak breath as this? No, you are deceived. Therefore, back to Rome and prepare for your execution. You are condemned. Our general has sworn you out of reprieve and pardon.
Sirrah, if thy captain knew I was here, he would use me with estimation.
Come, my captain knows you not.
I mean thy general.
My general cares not for you. Back, I say, go, lest I forth your half-pint of blood. Back! That's the utmost of your having. Back!
Nay, but fellow!
What's the matter?
Now, you companion, I'll say an errand for you. You shall know now that I am in estimation. You shall perceive that a Jack Gardent cannot office me from my son, Coriolanus. Yes, but by my entertainment with him, if thou standest not in the state of hanging or of some death more long in spectatorship and crueler in suffering. Behold now presently, and swoon for what's to come upon thee. The glorious gods sit in hourly synod about thy particular prosperity, and love thee no worse than thy old father Menenius does. Oh, my son, thou art preparing fire for us. Look thee, there's water to quench it. I was hardly moved to come to thee, but being assured none but myself could move thee, I have been blown out of your gates with sighs, and conjure thee to pardon Rome and thy petitionary countrymen. The good gods assuage thy wrath, and turn the dregs of it upon this varlet here, who like a block hath denied my access to thee.
Away.
How? Away?
Wife, mother, child, I know not. My affairs are servanted to others. Though I owe my revenge properly, my remission lies in Volscian breasts. That we have been familiar ingrate, forgetfulness shall poison rather than pity, note how much. Therefore be gone. Mine ears against your suits are stronger than your gates against my force. Yet for I love thee, take this along. I read it for thy sake. I would have sent it. Another word, Menenius. I will not hear thee speak. This man of Phidias was my beloved in Rome. Yet thou beholdest.
You keep a constant temper.
Now, sir, is your name Menenius?
'Tis a spell, you see, of much power. You know the way home again.
Do you hear how we are shent for keeping your greatness back?
What cause do you think I have to swim?
I neither care for your world nor your general. For such things as you, I can scarce think there's any you're so slight. He that hath a will to die by himself fears it not from another. Let your general do his worst. For you, be that you are, long and your misery increase with your age. I say to you, as I was said to, away!
A noble fellow, I warned him.
The worthy fellow is our general. He's the rock, the oak not to be wind shaken.
We will before the walls of Rome tomorrow set down our host. My partner in this action, you must report to the Volscian lords how plainly I have borne this business.
Only their ends you have respected. Stopped your ears against the general suit of Rome. Never admitted a private whisper. No, with such friends as thought them sure of you.
This last old man, whom with cracked heart I have sent to Rome, loved me above the measure of a father. Nay, guarded me, indeed. The latest refuge was to send him, for whose old love I have, though I showed sourly to him once more, offered the first conditions, which they did refuse, and cannot now accept, to grace him only that thought he could do no more. A very little I have yielded to. Fresh embassies and sweets, nor from the state nor private friends hereafter will I lend ear to. Ha, what shout is that? Shall I be tempted to infringe my vow when the same time 'tis made? I will not. My wife comes foremost, then the honored mold wherein this trunk was framed, in her hand the grandchild to her blood. But out, affection, all bond and privilege of nature break, that it be virtuous to be obstinate. What is that curtsy worth of those dove's eyes which can make gods forsworn? I melt and am not of stronger earth than others. My mother bows as if Olympus to a molehill should in supplication nod. And my young boy hath an aspect of intercession which great nature cries, deny not. Let the Volsces plow Rome and harrow Italy. I'll never be such a gosling to obey instinct, but stand as if a man were author of himself and knew no other kin.
My lord and husband.
These eyes are not the same I wore in Rome.
The sorrow that delivers us thus changed makes you think so.
Like a dull actor now I have forgot my part, and I am out. Even to a full disgrace, best of my flesh, forgive my tyranny. But do not say for that, forgive our Romans. Oh, a kiss long as my exile, sweet as my revenge. Now by the jealous queen of heaven, that kiss I carried from thee, dear, and my true lip has virgined it ever since. You, gods, I prayed, and the most noble mother of the world leave unsaluted, sink my knee in the earth. Of thy deep duty more impression show than that of common sons.
Stand up, blessed, whilst with no softer cushion than the flint, I kneel before thee, and unproperly show duty, as mistaken all this while between the child and parent.
What is this? Your knees to me? To your corrected son? Then let the pebbles and the hungry beasts fill up the stars. Then let the mutinous wind strike the proud cedars against the fiery sun, murdering impossibility to make what cannot be slight work.
Thou art my warrior. I hope to frame thee. Do you know this lady?
The noble sister of Publicola, the moon of Rome, chaste as the icicle that's curded by the frost from purest snow and hangs on Diane's temple. Dear Valeria.
This is a poor epitome of yours, which by the interpretation of full time I show like all yourself.
The god of soldiers, with the consent of supreme Jove, inform thy thoughts with nobleness, that thou mayest prove to shame unvulnerable and stick in the wars like a great sea mark, standing every flaw and saving those that eye thee.
Your knee, sir.
That's my brave boy.
Even he, your wife, this lady, and myself are suitors to you.
I beseech you, peace. Or if you'd ask, remember this before. The thing I have forsworn to grant my never be held by your denials. Do not bid me dismiss my soldiers or capitulate again with Rome's mechanics. Tell me not wherein I seem unnatural. Desire not to allay my rages and revenges with your coldest reasons.
Oh, no more. No more. You've said you will not grant us anything, for we have nothing else to ask but that, which you deny already. Yet we will ask that if you fail in our request, the blame may hang upon your hardness. Therefore hear us.
Aufidius and Uvolsky's mark, for we'll hear not from Rome in private. Your requests.
Should we be silent and not speak? Our raiment and states of bodies would bewray what life we have led since thy exile. Think with thyself how more unfortunate than all living women are we come hither, since that sight which should make our eyes flow with joy, hearts dance with comforts, constrains them weep and shake with fear and sorrow, making the wife, mother, and child to see the son, the husband, and the father tearing his country's bowels out. And to poor we, thy enmities most capital. Thou barst us our prayers to the gods, which is a comfort that all but we enjoy. For how can we, alas, how can we for our country pray, whereto we are bound, together with thy victory, whereto we are bound? Alack, or we must lose the country, our dear nurse, or else thy person, our comfort in the country. We must find an evident calamity, though we had our wish, which side should win, for either thou must, as a foreign recreant, be led with manacles through our streets, or else triumphantly tread on thy country's ruin, and bear the palm for having bravely shed thy wife and children's blood. For myself, son, I purpose not to wait on fortune till these wars determine. If I cannot persuade thee rather to show a noble grace to both parts than seek the end of one, thou shalt no sooner march to assault the country than to tread. Trust to it thou shalt not on thy mother's womb that brought thee into the world.
I and mine, that brought you forth this boy to keep your name living to time.
Requires nor child, nor woman's face to see. I have sat too long.
Nay, go not from us thus. If it were so that our request did tend to save the Romans, thereby to destroy the Volsces whom you serve, you might condemn us as poisonous of your honor. No, our suit is that you reconcile them. While the Volsces may say, this mercy have we showed, the Romans, this we received. And each in either side give the all hail to thee, and cry, be blessed for making up this peace. Thou knowst, great son, the end of war's uncertain, but this certain, that if thou conquer Rome, the benefit which thou shalt thereby reap is such a name whose repetition will be dogged with curses, whose chronicle thus writ, this man was noble, but with his last attempt he wiped it out, destroyed his country, and his name remains to the ensuing age abhorred. Speak to me, son. Thou hast affected the fine strains of honor to imitate the graces of the gods, to tear with thunder the wide cheeks of the air, and yet to charge the sulphur with a bolt that should rive an oak. Why dost thou not speak? Think'st it honorable for a noble man still to remember wrongs? Daughters, speak you. He cares not for your weeping. Speak thou, boy. Perhaps thy childishness will move him more than can our reasons. There's no man in the world more bound to his mother, yet here he lets me prate like one of the stocks. Thou hast never in thy life showed thy dear mother any courtesy, when she, poor hand, fond of no second brood, has clucked thee to the wars and safely home loaden with honor. Say my request's unjust, and spurn me back. But if it be not so, thou art not honest, and the gods will plague thee, that thou restrainst from me the duty which to a mother's part belongs. He turns away. Down, ladies! Let us shame him with our knees. Do his surname Coriolanus longs more pride than pity to our prayers. Down, and end. This is the last. So will we home to Rome and die among our neighbors. Nay, beholds this boy that cannot tell what he would have, but kneels and holds his hands up for fellowship. Does reason our petition with more strength than thou hadst to deny it. Come, let us go. This fellow had a Volscian to his mother. His wife is in Coriolanus, and his child like him by chance. Yet give us our dispatch. I am hushed till our city be afire, and then I'll speak a little.
Oh, mother. Mother! What have you done? Behold, the heavens do open. The gods look down. At this unnatural scene, they laugh at us. Oh, my mother, mother. You have won a happy victory to Rome. But for your son, believe it. Oh, believe it. Most dangerously you have with him prevailed, if not most mortal to him. But let it come. Aufidius, though I cannot make true wars, I'll frame convenient peace. Now, good Aufidius, were you in my stead, would you have heard a mother less? Or granted less, Aufidius?
I was moved with awe.
I dare be sworn you were. And sir, it is no little thing to make mine eyes to sweat compassion. But good sir, what peace you'll make. Advise me. For my part, I'll not to Rome. I'll back with you and pray you stand to me in this cause. Oh, mother, wife.
I am glad thou hast set thy mercy and thine honor at difference in thee. Out of that I'll work myself a former fortune.
Aye. By and by. But we'll drink together, and you shall bear a better witness back than words, which we on like conditions will have counterscaled. Come, enter with us. Ladies, you deserve to have a temple built you. All the swords in Italy and her Confederate arms could not have made this peace.
Do you see yon coin in the Capitol, yon cornerstone?
Why, what of that?
If it be possible for you to displace it with your little finger, there is some hope the ladies of Rome, especially his mother, may prevail with him, but I say there is no hope in it. Our throats are sentenced and stay upon execution.
Is it possible that so short a time can alter the condition of a man?
There is difference between a grub and a butterfly, yet your butterfly was a grub. This Marcius is grown from man to dragon. He has wings. He's more than a creeping thing.
He loved his mother dearly.
So did he me. And he no more remembers his mother now than an 8-year-old horse. The tartness of his face sours ripe grapes. When he walks, he moves like an engine, and the ground shrinks before his treading. He is able to pierce a corselet with his eye, talks like a knell, and his hum is a battery. He sits in his state as a thing made for Alexander. What he bids be done is finished with his bidding. He wants nothing of a god but eternity and a heaven to throne in.
Yes, mercy, if you report him truly.
I paint him in the character. Mark what mercy his mother shall bring from him. There is no mercy in him than there is milk in a male tiger. That shall our poor city find, and all this is long of you.
The gods be good unto us.
No, in such a case the gods will not be good unto us. When we banished him, we respected not them, and his returning to break our necks, they respect not us.
Sir, if you'd save your life, fly to your house. The plebeians have got your fellow tribune, and hail him up and down, all swearing if the Roman ladies bring not comfort home, they'll give him death by inches.
What's the news?
Good messenger, good news, good news. The ladies have prevailed. The Volscians are dislodged and Marcius gone. A merrier day never did greet Rome. No, not the expulsion of the Tarquins.
Friend, art thou certain this is true? Is it most certain?
As certain as I know the sun is fire. Where have you lurked that you make doubt of it? Ne'er through an arch so hurried the blown tide as the recomforted through the gates. Why, hark you, trumpets, sackbuts, psalteries and fifes, tabors and cymbals, and the shouting Romans make the sun dance. Hark you!
This is good news. I will go meet the ladies. Oh, this Volumnia is worthy of consuls, senators, patricians, a city full of tribunes such as you, a sea and land full of... Oh, you have prayed well today. This morning, for 10,000 of your throats, I'd have not given a doit. Oh, hark! How they joy!
First, the gods bless you for your tidings. Next, accept my thankfulness.
Sir, we have all great cause to give great thanks.
They are near the city.
Almost at point to enter.
We'll meet them and help the joy.
Behold our patroness, the life of Rome. Call all your tribes together, praise the gods, and make triumphant fires. Stew the flowers before them. Unshout the noise that bent Martius. Repeal with the welcome of his mother. Cry, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Go tell the lords of the city I am here. Deliver to them this paper. Bid them repair to having read it, bid them repair to the marketplace, where I, even in theirs and in the commons' ears, will vouch the truth of it. Him I accuse, the city ports by this hath entered, and intends to appear before the people, hoping to purge himself with words. Dispatch. Most welcome. Even so as with a man by his own alms empoisoned, and with his charity slain.
How is it with our general?
Even so as with a man by his own alms empoisoned, and with his charity slain.
If you do hold the same intent, wherein you wished us parties, will deliver you of your great danger.
Sir, I cannot tell. We must proceed as we do find the people.
People will remain uncertain, whilst twixt you there's difference. But the fall of either makes the survivor heir of all.
I know it. And my pretext to strike at him admits a good construction. I raised him, and I pawned mine honor for his truth, who, being so heightened, he watered his new plants with dews of flattery, seducing so my friends, and to this end he bowed his nature, never known before, but to be rough, unswayable, and free.
Sir, his stoutiness when he did stand consul, which he lost by lack of stooping.
That I would have spoke of. Being banished for it, he came unto my hearth, presented to my knife his throat. I took him, made him joint servant with me, gave him way in all his own desires. Nay, let him choose out of my files his projects to accomplish, my best and freshest men. Served his designments in mine own person, hope to reap the fame which he did end all his, and took some pride to do myself this wrong, till at the last I seemed his follower, not partner, and he waged me with his countenance as if I had been mercenary.
So he did, my lord. The army marveled at it, and in the last, when he had carried Rome, and that we looked for no less spoil than glory.
There was it, for which my sinews shall be stretched upon him. At a few drops of women's rue, which are as cheap as lies, he sold the blood and labor of our great action. Therefore shall he die, and I'll renew me in his fall. But hark!
Your native town you entered like a post, and had no welcomes home. But he returns, splitting the air with noise.
And patient fools, whose children he hath slain, their base throats tear with giving him glory.
Therefore, at your vantage, Ere he express himself or move the people with what he would say, let him feel your sword, which we will second. When he lies along after your way his tale pronounced, shall bury his reasons with his body.
Say no more. Here come the lords.
You are most welcome home.
I have not deserved it. But, worthy lords, have you with heed perused what I have written to you?
We have.
And grieve to hear it. What faults he made before the last, I think might have found easy fines. But there to the end, when he was to begin and give away the benefit of our levies, answering us with our own charge, making a treaty where there was a yielding this, admits no use.
He approaches. You shall hear him.
Hail, lords, I am returned your soldier, no more infected with my country's love than when I parted hence, but still subsisting under your great command. You are to know that prosperously I have tempted, and with bloody passes led your wars even to the gates of Rome. Our spoils we have brought home. Do more than counterpoise a full third part for charges of the action. We have made peace with no less honor to the Antiotes than shame to the Romans. And we have here delivered, subscribed by the consuls and patricians together with the seal of the Senate, what we have compounded on.
Read it not, noble lords, but tell the traitor in the highest degree he hath abused your powers.
Traitor? How now?
Aye, traitor, Marcius.
Marcius.
Aye, Marcius, Caius Marcius. Dost thou think I'll grace thee with that robbery, thy stolen name, Coriolanus, in Coriolis? You lords and heads of the state, perfidiously he has betrayed your business and given up for certain drops of salt your city, Rome, I say your city, to his wife and mother, breaking his oath and resolution like a twist of rotten silk, never admitting counsel of the war, but at his nurse's tears he whined and roared away your victory. And pages blushed at him, and men of heart looked wondering at each other.
Hearest thou Mars?
Name not the god, thou boy of tears.
Ha!
No more.
Measureless liar! Thou hast made my heart too great for what contains it. Boy! Oh, slave! Pardon me, lords. 'Tis the first time that e'er I forced to scold. Your judgments, my grave lords, must give this cur the lie in his own notion, who wears my stripes impressed upon him, that must bear my beating to his grave, shall join to thrust the lie unto him.
Peace, both, and hear me speak.
Cut me to pieces, Volskis, men and lads. Stain all your edges on me, boy, false hound. If you have writ your annals true, 'tis there that like an eagle in a dovecote, I fluttered your Volskids in Coriolanus. Alone I did it, boy.
Why, noble lords, will you be put in mind of his blind fortune, which was your shame by this unholy braggart for your own eyes and ears?
Let him die for it.
Tear him to pieces. Do it presently. He killed my son, my daughter, killed my cousin Marcus. He killed my father.
Peace, ho! No outrage! Peace! The man is noble, and his fame folds into this orb the earth. His last offenses to us shall have judicious hearing. Stand, Aufidius, and trouble not the peace.
Oh, that I had him with 6 Aufidiuses or more, his tribe, to use my lawful sword.
Kill. Kill.
Kill.
Kill him.
Kill.
Kill him.
Kill.
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 Kill him.
Kill him.
Kill.
Oh. My noble masters, hear me speak.
Hold.
Hold us.
Hold. I had my mic muted.
Done a deed.
Tread
Thou
not
hast
upon
done
him.
a deed
Masters,
when-
all be quiet. Put up your swords.
My lords, when you shall know, as in this rage provoked by him you cannot, the great danger which this man's life did owe you, you'll rejoice that he is thus cut off. Please it your honors to call me to your senate. I'll deliver myself your loyal servant or endure your heaviest censure.
Bear his body hence, and mourn you for him. Let him be regarded as the most noble corpse that ever herald did follow to his end.
His own impatience takes from Aufidius a great part of blame. Let's make the best of it.
My rage is gone, and I am struck with sorrow. Take him up. Help 3 of the chiefest soldiers. I'll be one. Beat thou the drum, that it speak mournfully. Trail your steel pikes. Though in this city he hath widowed and unchilded many a one, which to this hour bewail the injury, yet he shall have a noble memory. Assist